Well, the editorial this evening is Michael Diamond. He's the Vice President of the National Consumers League of Jamaica, and he'll be speaking specifically to his concerns about the improper disposal of medical waste. Michael, good evening.
Good evening.
Tell us all about it.
Well, this is a very serious concern, and this all came about because of a recent event that occurred at a local hospital where medical waste was improperly being disposed of, actually. And this is very concerning for us because one of the 8 basic consumer rights is about the right to a safe environment free from hazards. So for us at the National Consumers League, we want to make sure that we advise our consumers, especially those that are in the healthcare sector, that we cannot simply disregard these safety concerns when it comes down to medical waste, right? And for many would notice that oftentimes medical waste is actually segregated from regular waste, whereas it is placed in a red bag and is usually marked infectious waste, right? And these has very serious consequences, especially when individuals would treat it slight. So this was a very alarming issue that came to our attention, and we just wanted to make sure that we lend our consumer voice to that.
We had a discussion about it yesterday here because we saw you and the minister in a little bit of a Twitter argument about it.
Well, interestingly enough, I must say that I do want to give credit, and credit is definitely due to the CEO at the hospital for taking the necessary steps, because what has happened, we also want to be very clear. The National Consumers League is a non-government entity. We are not political. We do not side in any political issues. Our main concern is to promote, educate, and to make sure that we advance consumer rights and protection here in Jamaica. And us being an NGO gives us that advantage that we don't have to be politically swayed,
Absolutely.
Right? So the consumer protection, the consumer rights is our main concern. So what had happened now, we don't take those things personal, and we actually see it as perhaps the minister was underinformed or ill-informed, and his response was somewhat of a reaction rather than something very serious. So what we're looking forward to now is what next? What actions will he take next?
So just for the purpose of our audience, just give us a little background to what happened. So there was information brought to you regarding some waste in the hospital.
Right. There was very credible information that was brought to us from a very concerned citizen who was at the maternity ward and saw that medical waste was placed very close to where the public is, which it shouldn't be, and it wasn't in any containers, and basically it was exposed in the open air. So what this does, it creates a significant health and environment condition that had to be addressed.
So what would be your next step in a situation like this? And I'm sure this is how you treat with reports that come to you. Things come to your attention, you'd likely give the hospital a call. You mentioned the hospital CEO.
What we do in situations like we have to investigate. We investigate all complaints, no matter how simple it might be, because again, oftentimes what the consumer doesn't have is a voice. They don't have that outlet where they can articulate their issues. So when we receive complaints of the sort, we go, and there was an actual site visit where over 2 hours was spent observing this condition. And when you speak to individuals who should be responsible, who should be knowledgeable of it, they were pretty much underinformed. They did not understand the seriousness of the situation.
So I'd imagine one of your objectives is highlighting this to the hospital, because you actually, ultimately, you want the hospital to have a better process.
Absolutely. It's not just for the hospital.
Yes.
For us as a National Consumers League, we would want all hospitals, all facilities to now do an audit of how they handle medical waste, because we are at a very serious time right now where it's not just simply the dengue issue, but the issue of health is very serious. This is a national security issue where health is concerned. And if we had individuals who are on the front line, who are untrained, underinformed, and pretty much not doing what they're supposed to do according to the protocol, we want that to be addressed.
Michael, thank you very much, bringing awareness to some of the critical issues.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us.